Hey guys, Chris Ellson with Coldwell Banker. We're here for episode 2 of First Time Homebuyer Friday at Assured Settlement Solutions in Monroeville, PA. Come on. So we're here today at Assured Settlement Solutions. I'm here with Ryan Beck, who's the owner, and we're going to be going over some of the processes that it takes to close on a property that you put an offer in on. So in the beginning, when the realtor brings you guys a sales agreement, take me through the process of opening a new file.
Sure. So the first thing that we do when we open a file, we order a title search. We send our abstractor to the courthouse to search the court record books for any open mortgages, any liens, any judgments, any child support arrearages, things like that. We also order the lien letters, tax certifications. We check and see if any die tests are needed, occupancy permits, inspections, and whatnot. That kind of gets the file started. Once that information starts to come back, then we compile our title commitment, which we would send over to the lender if they're involved, or if it's a cash transaction, we would actually let you guys know what's going on so we can continue to pull the file together.
Perfect. All right. So Ryan, take me through what it's like to do a title search. What do you guys look for? Take me through that process a little bit.
So our title searches are actually done by independent abstractors. We have people that we work with and work for us. That's all that they do, is they are down in the courthouses going through the courthouse record books. We do not do that at Assured. These are independent people or our title underwriters that actually, they're performing that search work. That's all that they do. They're going through the record books. They, like I said, are looking for any open mortgages, any judgments, delinquent taxes, and then they compile a property report. They put that together. When they send that over, we interpret that and then basically work off of that to compile our title commitment for the property.
Okay. So you're making sure that the title is clear and free of any judgments or liens, correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
So at Assured Settlements, let's go over what you do in terms of fees and how that compares to another company that does what you do.
Sure. So we make our money from the title insurance itself. The title insurance in Pennsylvania is state regulated. That's regulated by the Department of Insurance. And the title underwriters that we work with, they're all on a level playing field. So the insurance itself is how we get paid for what we do. It also covers the cost of the title search.
So one of the main questions that we get is the difference between the closing disclosure and the HUD, and Ron's going to explain that now.
So the HUD-1 statement was around for a very long time. We used it up until about 2015 for all transactions, whether there was a mortgage or if it was a cash transaction.
Right.
The government then made changes to the documents, and they released what is now called a closing disclosure, or a CD. The buyer has a CD, the seller has a CD, and we also use an ALTA statement, which is a joint statement. The buyer's closing disclosure, or CD, is something that gets released to them from the lender directly. We work and put together the ALTA statement, which is what you guys will use for your records.
Absolutely.
And it's something that all parties will sign at the closing table as well. So we've got two separate buyer CD, a seller CD, and then we've got ALTA statements as well.
When should the buyer and seller plan to receive their CD?
So the buyer is supposed to receive their CD at least 3 business days before closing, and that comes directly from the lender. We supply the seller with their CD and the ALTA statement to both agents at least a few days before closing, in that 3-day window, so that everyone has time to review everything.
So Ryan, one of the questions I have is, can I just bring a personal check into the closing room to pay for my house?
We don't like personal checks at closing, Chris. If the buyer needs funds for more than $500, we prefer to get a cashier's or certified check.
Right.
A buyer could also have their funds wired into our account.
Okay.
The reason that we need a certified check is because we need the funds to be good, and because we need to disperse to all parties.
So Ryan, what do I need to bring to closing if I'm a buyer?
Sure. So in addition to your cashier's or certified check or wired funds, we just need copies of we just need a driver's license and or possibly a second form of ID if that's something the lender requires.
So once we wrap up the closing process, we're all sitting across the table from each other. There's always questions on what's going to happen now. And Ryan's going to go over a couple common questions that we hear from buyers and sellers alike. So what's one of the most common questions, do you think, Ryan?
Sure. So I always like to inform people when the first payment's going to be due. If we're closing early in a month, sometimes it's pushed out for possibly 2 months because of the interest that we collect. We also inform the buyers that once we record something at the courthouse, it's public record.
Right.
There are companies that buy lists of new transactions, so they are going to be bombarded with junk mail for a few weeks.
Of course.
After we get the deed recorded at the courthouse, the deed comes back to our company. We prepare the final title policy.
Okay.
We're also going to send it out to the buyer, and we also let people know that they will receive something in the mail from someone trying to sell them another copy of the
Right.
deed, which they do not need to buy. It's nice you get to hold on to the original deed after closing.
Okay.
You don't need that to sell the property. It's not like a car title where it transfers. It's just nice that the buyer gets to
Yeah,
hold on
copy.
to that. Yeah, absolutely.